911, where's your emergency?
If you're ever in a mall and you hear gunshots like pop, pop, pop.
On a wooded tree-lined backdrop with snow blowing and falling on trees, big bold red text appears and reads, Sightless Living, copyright symbol, 2021-2023 Sightless Living, all rights reserved, then disappears.
Hi everyone. Ooh, it's cold out here. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh. As you can see, it's snowing. We have a storm coming in. Supposed to give us a foot or more. So I'm going to run to the supermarket and get some odds and ends in case we have a power outage. So I'll see you at the supermarket.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.
Throughout this video, I am going to show some handicap parking signs and explain to the best of my ability what they look like. Then I will explain to you what happened to me and why I wanted to share this information, and that's coming up. The first handicap parking space features a wheelchair icon painted in white on the asphalt. For those who do not know what the wheelchair icon looks like, it resembles a person sitting in a wheelchair, aka wheelchair user. I've had various handicap parking signs taken different times of the year, different times of the day for this video. So some you may see sun, it may seem bright and cheery, even though when the video was filmed, it was snowing. Hey there, I'm in a Chinese market. This is an authentic grocery store where I get products straight from China, Taiwan, and other places. I figured, hey, might as well learn how to cook it. We've been cooking Chinese food for years. So I'm looking for some black bean sauce to go with my black beans and chicken. We are looking for our item which is not in its usual place. The aisles are very narrow. There are bottles and jars on every shelf. I have to hang on to my handbag so it does not swing and knock things off the shelves. This is the brand I like, Lee Kum Kee. This is the only size this store carries. And it's so popular, there's only one left, this one. So let me get some more stuff I need. The fuzzy noise you hear in the background is the heating system blowing air. Here's some black sesame oil. And we usually stick to our same brands because they've already been checked for the lowest salt possible. Fresh ingredients, no preservatives, that type of thing. I'm being moved out of the way of oncoming traffic.
Somebody's in the way.
Very tight in here. Okay. So let's see what else was on the list. We only need a few items, so we'll only be in the bottle and jar section today. Yeah, but I knew this stuff from sight. So if you're blind and you want to get into Chinese cuisine, Japanese cuisine, I would go to the store with a sighted person. If you are totally blind like myself, and then once you get your brands and you've been using them for years like we have, you just know what to look for. Okay, moving on. This handicap parking space features a sign on the pole. Handicap signs are usually blue with white text, or they can be reversed and be white with blue text, or some may have bluish green or teal green or greenish blue kind of text. This particular sign features the wheelchair icon on top in white with an outline of a white square around it. Under that is text which reads, reserved parking. Under that, permit required. And under that, at the bottom of the sign, violators will be fined minimum $150. Hi, here I am in Walmart. I popped in for some odds and ends and some CeraVe beauty products, such as CeraVe Hydrating Face Cleanser and CeraVe Moisturizing Lotion. The camera is scanning CeraVe products on the shelf. There are retinol creams, morning creams, night creams, face lotions, face washes, makeup remover, eye makeup remover, and more. I use a scanning products app like Seeing AI to scan items on the shelf. Now the camera is focusing on my basket, showing the items I've placed in it thus far. Now I'll move on to my next task. This handicap parking space features a white sign on a pole. The text is done in a teal green or teal blue. The text reads, reserved parking. Underneath that is a blue square with the wheelchair icon done in white in the center. Okay, so here I am in the market and I'm picking up some odds and ends. I use an app called Any List. It's a list app. It's spelled ANYLIST, 2 words. And it's really good. It's voiceover friendly. What I do is dictate my items while I'm looking in the refrigerator and things like that, because I have to feel everything. While I'm feeling the items, I'll dictate into my phone and say what I want, like oatmeal bread or pumpernickel bread or maybe rye bread, whatever I'm getting, almond milk, whatever. After I get all my items, then I save my list. I just hit done. Then when I get to the store, I just go into my list. I don't have to open it. I just open the app. My list is there. I can't do any edits or anything. But what I can do is as I pick up the items, I can either double tap it and it puts a line through it, or I can swipe up or down to delete the item. So a lot of times, since I'm buying the same items, I just double tap it so it puts a line across it, and then voiceover says crossed off or crossed out. Let's see. I am checking my phone. It says crossed off. So I put fish sticks in there just to show you. And it says crossed off. Or I can swipe up or down and it will say delete item, and then I'll delete it. That's a very good app. I've been using it for over 5 years and it gets better and better. Now you can save things from your recipe and it will add it to your list, or you can share it. Any phone or device that's on your network can pick it up. So if I'm doing a list and maybe my daughter wants to add something or another family member, they can just go ahead and add it and it goes on one list. Everybody gets the same list, and then whoever goes shopping can just go pick the items up. The deli is busy. I'll have to come back. Okay, the next item is tofu. So let me go find that. And then I'll come back to the deli and get some cheese. Just in case the power goes out, tuna melts are an excellent choice. One of my favorites. Maybe I'll get some rye bread. I love to barbecue during blackouts. Okay, so now I can knock tofu off my list. I got lucky and had a Chinese young man help me out. So I found the soft and I found the firm. Now put it in my cart. I am reaching into my basket to place my items. I think I'll have some fun at the deli since I had to come back. Hello.
What can I get you guys?
I would like to get brown American cheese.
What color? Wait,
Brown.
I'm sorry.
I would like brown or maybe green.
Green American cheese?
Yes.
That's really big. We have orange.
I'll get orange, cut on number 2, please. And I'll get a pound. Thanks. It's still snowing outside, so I still have some time. Tomorrow's a different story, but it's just nuisance snow. It's not really sticking, so that's good because I have other errands to run. Oh, and I like to come to the markets early because by lunchtime you can just sit down in one of the eateries if you want, and you could get like pizza and things you shouldn't be eating, sandwiches, hot dogs. I don't know what else they have here because I usually don't stop, but my favorite is Wegmans, and Wegmans has everything from vegetarian to pork eaters. It just has everything, so that's my favorite market. Let me run along and finish picking up my items so I can get to other places. Camera is pointing at bathroom door. I had an accident with my coffee. The lid was not on tight. Good thing I wore 2 sweaters this morning. You know, I love the smell of fresh brewed coffee, but when it spills on your clothes, it's not so nice. This handicap parking space features a white sign on a wall with green or teal bluish lettering. The top sign is a rectangle in portrait orientation and reads "Reserved Parking." Underneath that is a solid blue square with the wheelchair icon in the center done in white. Under that sign is a smaller rectangular sign in landscape orientation which reads "Van Accessible." I have some red cabbage here. Feels like it's about 3 pounds. Could be more. So I got cabbage and all kinds of other veggies. Some turnips with the little greens. There are all kinds of stuff here. Some kale. So I got my veggies and some other stuff. And I'll go cash out and head to my next errand. Gotta go to another store. Snow's coming. This handicap parking space features a solid blue square painted on asphalt with the white wheelchair icon in the center. Now we are in a grocery warehouse club type of deal, looking for seasonings. Granulated garlic, onion powder, and Mrs. Dash garlic and herb seasoning. Then we'll move on to some dried fruit for the cereal. Now I am here looking for dried fruit for the cereal. We're looking for apricots, pitted dates, and raisins. Then we'll be off for a little fun. Here is the store's robot. It checks the inventory. Its name is Tally. I'll do a guesstimate on what it looks like and what the size and dimensions are. First of all, it rolls on a round base. Then there is a rectangular box sitting on top of the base. The height is adjustable, so it depends on the height of the store shelves. I was told this one is about 7.5 to 8 feet tall. It looks like it's about 12 inches wide and 4 to 5 inches deep. Now that is a guesstimate because no one has measured it. But it rolls around the store. It can check inventory of the entire store up to 3 times. This club store is pretty large, so that's pretty impressive if it can do that. It doesn't take that long at each shelf, as you can see as we're walking behind it. You'll see these kind of robots popping up everywhere. There's also another robot, Marty. I got him too, and that's coming up in another video. That's an old video. I may have to update it. This one rolls around. I called it a she. I was corrected. I was told it's a non-binary robot. It doesn't want to be a boy or a girl. I said, okay. But anyway, you can hear the tone. It sounds like it's trying to say Marco Polo. But you'll hear that throughout the store as it does its little job. The eyes are in the center of the body and they blink. It has 3 little round speakers going across it to make a mouth. And it has an LED screen. The handicap spaces at this establishment feature 3 signs on one pole. All the signs are white with teal green or teal bluish lettering. The top sign is a rectangle in portrait orientation and reads reserved parking. Underneath that is a solid blue square with the wheelchair icon in the center done in white. Under that sign is a smaller rectangular sign in landscape orientation which reads van accessible. At the bottom, that sign is large and it says penalty at the top. Then it says $250 first offense. Then under that it says subsequent offenses, minimum $250 and /or up to 90 days community service. Under that it says towaway zone. They have several of these at their establishment, so they mean business. We're done with our shopping. I've run my errands. It's dark now. It's still flurrying off and on. And I'm going to head home. I got a bunch of groceries here. And we always keep a cooler in the trunk so we can put our refrigerated items in there. It stays in the car year round. When we take the SUV, we put it in there. So some of this stuff is like ridiculous. Got some orange juice in the cooler here, $8. Chicken was $16. I said, forget it. A woman came over to me. She said she was traumatized by the prices. Then another vet was talking about food stamps being cut and started talking politics. So I just excused myself from that conversation. But he's telling us he's entitled. He took a bullet for the country. I was like, okay, let me leave. But anyway, that's what happens when you go shopping. The cooler's pretty full. I got a bunch of bargains. When you go grocery shopping, you have to read the ingredients. It's a little slow for me because I have to use my phone. But I like to ask. I always bring a sighted person with me when I go shopping for convenience. I can get out quick. I'd probably be getting out tomorrow. But able to get everything done, run my errands. So usually I hit all 5 grocery stores, but didn't do it today. It's a madhouse. Everybody's shopping for the storm. Everybody's afraid. They threatened us with the power going out. The wind's picking up. A few days later, let me tell you the story what happened to me. A group of us went to the mall. We get there, the lot is full. We went to the garage, that was full. They weren't taking any more cars. So we rode around the whole mall. Now this is a big mall. We rode around a couple of times. Then we finally found a parking spot. It was quite a ways to walk. So we get out and we started walking. It was very hot that day. We did not realize how hot it was until we had to park miles away. Well, it wasn't really that long, but it wasn't close. As we're walking, the heat from the asphalt was radiating upward. The sun was beaming down on us. Cars were coming by, blowing their exhaust. It was like real hot. It was awful. No air moving, no breeze, nothing. Birds weren't even flying. As we're walking up the column of cars, the cars are horizontally parked. We're walking along the trunks. We walked up one lot, then we had to make a right and go up the road in that lot because it's split up. And there are a bunch of roads going through the lot, and the people were not paying attention. They're flying and doing all kinds of things, accidents in the lot, just crazy. It's not that much sale in the world, but some people think so. As we're making our way up to the mall, there was a car that came up behind us, blowing the horn frantically, then jotted past us, then jumped in front of us and stopped and started yelling at somebody who's in the parking spot, getting ready to pull out. And as we start passing by them, she's like, "You almost hit that woman. You see the blind woman? You almost hit her." And I said to the people I'm with, that woman shouldn't even be saying that because I was nowhere near this woman's car. As you see, we just came up past them. We're just reaching them now, so I don't know what's going on with them. Perhaps they had a rift in the mall before they came out into the parking lot. So I said, let's get out of here. Let's walk a little faster because, we were struggling to walk. It was so hot. My water bottle, which was cold, turned hot. It was like hot tea. So as we get closer to the door, the woman comes up to us and she's talking about, "Oh, that woman almost hit you and blah, blah, blah. I had to say something to her. I wasn't blowing at y'all. I just wanted the woman to look because she just jumped in her car and didn't turn her head." And I didn't even get involved in that because I'm thinking, well, she drove up behind us. She's blowing the horn. When did she see the woman not turn her head? So I told the people I'm with, let's go. So I just said to her, "Thank you for looking out. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay cool," because it was hot, and just kept on walking. Some other people that saw the conversation came up to us. "Do you have a parking permit?" She's parked up in Handicap. And I said to her, "But I don't drive anymore." She said, "I think there's something about blind people there, so you should really check it out." I thanked the woman for her information and we parted ways. When I go in the mall, I like to be quick. I don't like to dilly-dally and walk the length of the mall like we used to. After being in 2 mall shootings, it kind of freaks you out.
911, where's your emergency? Stay exactly where you are until police come and get you.
By the way, if you're ever in a mall and you hear gunshots like pop, 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 that's what we heard. And then all of a sudden it was silent. Then you heard a stampede coming towards you. And the mall started shaking because we were on the 2nd floor. So it's bouncing up and down. Here's my tip. When you hear the little pops of the gun and then it gets quiet, get out of the way. While everybody's looking around saying, "What's that?" Get out of the way. Don't stay in the middle. Move to the side. Because shortly thereafter, you will hear a stampede of people coming your way. Because people will be looking for exits. What I always do is go to the side and then the crowd stampedes past me. I've hidden under clothes racks and done all kinds of things. And your heart jumps in your mouth, your throat gets dry, and you just have to stay calm because you can panic. And being blind, you can run into walls, you can run into all things. You can put your eye out on a hanger. It's just a lot of things that could go wrong. So the first thing to do is stay calm and get out of people's way. Because once you fall on the ground, that's it. No one's going to help you up. and they're going to stampede you, and you will get seriously hurt, if not killed. So that's my tip for the day. When I heard the pop, pop, and we're like, what the heck is that? Is that what I think it is? Well, it's not fireworks in the middle of the mall. And we just moved to the side and found safety while everybody was running around and screaming and crying. And it was a nightmare. We had gone to a different area and was in a mall again. And we were leaving the mall and there was a shootout in the parking lot. So we just went right back into the mall, and I have not been back to those two malls at all. I looked into this permit thing. You should first look at your DMV, your Department of Motor Vehicles, for your state. Usually you can download the form for the doctor because you have to prove that you have a disability. Print out the form. It's best to try to get it downloaded from the internet and bring it with you. It depends on your state and where you live, because some people live in hamlets, some people live in townships, some people live in villages, cities, towns, what have you. Find out from motor vehicles where you need to go. Some people have to go to their village hall, town hall, tax assessor's office, clerk's office. So it's best to find out first where you need to go. So once your form is all filled out, you can just submit it. Sometimes you can get it right away. Sometimes you have to wait for it to come in the mail. So it depends on where you live and your Department of Motor Vehicles. When I got home, I found the medical form. I had a doctor's appointment coming up. I said, this is perfect. So I printed it out and took that form to the doctor. I get to the doctor and I ask, do you think I'm eligible for this? We started talking about it and the doctor was like, oh yeah, oh definitely, blah, blah, blah. So I realized you have to be your own advocate because no one's going to hand you any information. I say to the doctor, why didn't you tell me? Oh, well, you didn't ask. Well, how can I ask if I don't know about it? He fills it out. I take it with me. The next day, I call up the Department of Motor Vehicles, find out how to submit it, and follow those steps. Every state is different. What one state may say qualifies you, another one may not. When I got to the agency I had to go to, I got my permit right away. Sometimes you'll have to mail it and it will come through the mail. Now, if you are interested in getting a parking permit, it's called a Handicap Parking Permit or Handicap Parking Placard. It's about 9 inches tall, 4.5 inches wide. It has a hole at the top with a slit to the side. And this is to hang on a vehicle's rear view mirror. At the top, I have it covered because this is the internet. But you have your permit number, which appears on the front and back of it because it's two-sided. In the center, you have dates and months, which get hole punched for your expiry date. And then at the bottom, it gives you the agency that distributed the permit. It's plastic. It's bendable. I wipe mine down all the time. So I figured, let me share this information for people that don't know, because I didn't know at first either. And what it allows you to do is park at the door where all the handicap signs are. So you can have easy access just like everyone else. Mine is blue with white text. There is a red one with white text, and that's a temporary one. And that's for if you had surgery, or you're pregnant, or you have some broken bones, you're waiting for them to heal, you may be eligible to get a temporary permit. Basically, the permit is for anyone that has problems with mobility. And being blind, I have a problem with mobility because I cannot walk without a cane. I mean, I could if I want to get hit, but that's not on my agenda. So I cannot walk freely without a cane or some type of support. So that qualifies me in the areas I go. Now, if I go to a different state that looks at blindness differently, then that's to be judged at a later date. But I was told by motor vehicles that usually blindness is recognized by all states. Low vision, visually impaired, those are different areas, and you'll have to see if your impairment qualifies. But it's worth checking out. It's free. Now, the temporary permit may be free, or you may have to pay, is what I was told. Usually they've seen those fees at $6. So there are 4 different types of permit. You have a red one with white print. That is the temporary one. You have this blue one with white print. That is a permanent one. There is also a light blue one with white print. That is for wheelchair users only. And lastly, there is a green one with white print. And that is for organizations that transport disabled people. Now, I'm saying disabled because that goes for any type of disability. But you can't just take a magnetic sign and say, oh, I'm going to make me some extra money. I'm going to get my signs, slap it on my vehicle, and drive disabled people around, because that's not going to work. You need to have a registered business, is what I'm told. So I'm just putting that out there. And I was told that people do try to scam and they do misuse these parking permits. But if you get caught, there is a fine up to $1,000, if not more. There is a period where you'll have to do community service or jail time up to 6 months. And you will also have your parking permit revoked. It's best not to lend it to your friend or family, because if they are caught, then you and them could have fines, jail time, community service, and your parking privileges revoked. They do take the parking permit seriously and the rules and regulations. Now, sometimes when you travel, you need to call to the states you are traveling to see if there's anything you need to do. Some states require a temporary permit. Some don't. So it's best to figure it out as you're planning your agenda for travel, what you would need to do if you plan to use a handicap parking permit. I like using it because when I ask people, oh, can you take me to the market, or are you going to the store? Or they mention to me, hey, I'm going to the mall, you want to come? And I'm like, well, when are you going? Oh, I'm going right now. And I say, oh, I can't go like that. I have something to do first. And if they do decide to wait for me, then you feel kind of guilty. And I'm like, oh, good, I'll buy lunch, or I'll give you gas money. And sometimes that gets a little much if you're doing lunch and gas money. So I use my parking permit as a bartering tool. So I can barter that way. Hey, let's go to the mall and we can park up front. Oh, that's great. Or a friend may say, I'm going to the mall, but it's going to be crowded because you two have something to do. And I'm going to be there for maybe 2-3 hours. So I don't know. I may have to cancel on you, and we'll do it another time. And this way I can say, no problem, I'll come with you to the mall. And we'll get out quicker and we can still do what we have planned. I'll just bring my parking permit and hang it on your mirror. So we can park in the front, go do what we have to do, and leave. And a lot of times it works out. I keep the parking permit in my handbag. When I need it, I just pull it out, hang it on the mirror. And when I get back, I'll just take it off the mirror and put it back in my purse. You are not supposed to leave them hanging up there while the car is in motion. Another thing I just found out is you can apply for a metered parking waiver. meaning you don't have to feed the meter. And I just found that out. I've been using a parking permit since 2000 something, and no one ever told me. You have to be your own advocate, because if you don't know, no one's going to volunteer the information. There have been numerous times where I was in maybe a beauty parlor, getting my hair done, and I had to keep stopping, have someone run out to the meter and feed the meter. It's crazy. I've spent $15 in quarters in some establishments and less in others feeding the meter. And the whole time I have my parking permit hanging up on the mirror and never knew there was a metered parking waiver. So you may want to check that out too if you decide to look into getting a parking permit for yourself. What qualifies to get you one of these is your disability. For each state, they look at things differently. I've had mine for years now, and I've been traveling all up and down the Northeast. I never had any problem in any state. What I did at first, when I first started using these, I called the different states that I normally frequent and live in and asked them about it. I asked them about cane colors, parking permits, anything that pertains to vehicles. I asked them about it. I got my answers, and I'm good. So I follow the rules. When I applied for my permit, some of the disabilities, if you are an amputee, you should apply. If you wear prosthetics, you should apply. If you have heart problems and the American Heart Association classifies you as a class 3 or a class 4, you should apply. If you have neurological issues, you should apply. If you're in a wheelchair, you can apply. If you cannot walk without some mobility aid, you should apply. If you have breathing issues, you should apply. If you have severe arthritis, you should apply. If you're blind, visually impaired, or low vision, you should apply. If you have respiratory problems or are on oxygen, you should apply. If you have advanced lung or cardiac disease, you should apply. But keep in mind, each state looks at your disability differently. If it interferes with your mobility, you should look into applying for a handicap parking permit. And that's only if you plan on using it. If you don't plan on using it, it's not worth having it in your name. That permit number is registered to you. But if you have a family vehicle and your family is basically driving you around, you can apply. This way, when they take you places, you can use your permit to hang it on the rearview mirror so you could park up front. And when you get back in the vehicle, you can just take it down and put it back in your pocket or your purse or wherever. And like I mentioned earlier, you have the permit number at the top. In the center, it's dates where they punch it for when it expires. So that's your expiry date in the center. And at the bottom is the agency that issues it. Now at the very top of the hanger, the permit or placard, if you will, it says non-transferable. So you cannot give it to someone. You can't transfer it to them. When you're done with it, you have to return it. Also, it gets renewed every 4 or 5 years. So you'll have to go back to the agency that gave it to you to have your permit renewed. What I usually do is when I renew mine, I give them my old one and they give me a new one. Now, once you receive one of these placards, you are the only one that can use it. You cannot lend it out to friends or family. You cannot rent it out. You cannot do anything with it but use it yourself. I wanted to share this video. In the event any of you have a vehicle at your disposal or a trusted friend or family member that doesn't mind taking you places where you can kind of trade off by offering to go with them when they take you somewhere, you can just hang up your parking permit So it will give you the flexibility of parking up close. You could go run your errands, they can run their errands, and it just makes it more convenient. By having a parking permit, you can have a trusted family member, a trusted friend, associate, whomever help you, and you can help them back by hanging up your placard in the rearview mirror while you'll park up close and go shopping, go to doctor's appointments, do whatever involves driving somewhere. So that's why I wanted to share this information. It just gives you options and it makes it easier.
Scene changes to a wooded tree-lined backdrop with snow blowing and falling on trees. Rolling credits appear in big bold red text scrolling upward from the bottom of the screen. Text reads, Anita, hostess/visionary, Mountain Air Videography, TM symbol, videographer/editor. The rest of the text may be read in the description box below. Thanks for watching.